Welcome to HitEnter. I'm Samir Saberi and today I'm talking with Gijs from Broek, the Chief Commercial Officer of WeMarket, a company that intends to disrupt international trade and was founded by the successful serial entrepreneur and CEO of WeTransfer, Bas Beerens. Enjoy the show. Gijs, welcome. Thank you for being on the show.
Well, thanks for the invitation and it's a pleasure to be here.
Last year you launched WeMarket after a stealth period of almost 3 years. Can you tell us what WeMarket actually does?
Well, in short, WeMarket is a B2B marketplace where buyers meet with suppliers to buy products from any type of industry that you can think of. And we started WeMarket with the notion that we wanted to make B2B trade transparent and easy for any company in the world. Either it being a small or large organization. So when we initially reached out to potential buyers and suppliers, we quickly realized that B2B trade is far from transparent. Many distributors and retailers are very frustrated about having customers in their stores, but not actually the right product on inventory. And on the other side of the coin, we spoke to a lot of suppliers and brands being frustrated about having overstock and not being able to find that particular retailer with a customer in the store. So we wanted to create a digital marketplace to really digitize traditional forms of trading, because if you look at this from a global scale, then it's a massive inventory challenge of about 1.75 trillion US dollars of products being overstocked, understocked, of products just simply being returned to suppliers. So this was the challenge that we wanted to address. And of course there are already many marketplaces out there in the world, especially for consumer to consumer, business to consumer, but for B2B there isn't that much out there apart from vertical marketplaces and vertical auctions that's just, let's say, focus on smartphones or just focus on fashion or just focus on products from Asian manufacturers. But there isn't anything like WeMarket, and we'd like to think also that we created a new marketplace category, because WeMarket is actually the first marketplace in the world where local and global brands like LG, like Philips, like TomTom are actively trading with distributors, wholesalers, retailers and stock lot traders. So it's for the first time that brands themselves actively trade, and it's for the first time that the entire distribution chain is trading on the same platform.
You just said that WeMarket is actually the first B2B global marketplace. Why is that? Well, simply because of the reason that there weren't the right marketplaces prior to WeMarket. So when we, before our launch last August, we interviewed about 150 different companies and we asked them why aren't you trading on current marketplaces, so what is actually lacking? And we came to a couple of fundamentals on which we built WeMarket, and one of these fundamentals is, for instance, that we're 100% B2B. That means that consumers will not have access to WeMarket. So all businesses acting on WeMarket are verified on a personal level. So we have ID checks. We also have Dun & Bradstreet checks to make sure that the business really exists. Another important fact why brands in particular are not trading on other marketplaces is because of trust. A lot of times when a brand is going to interact with a new buyer, then they also have to have a lot of trust in them that they will comply with buyers' restrictions. That means that that particular buyer is going to sell the items in a region that is agreed upon and in a type of retailers that is agreed upon, etc. So having a 100% B2B marketplace with a high trust level is something that we have found very important for WeMarket. And how do you provide that solution, the trust?
100% B2B, no consumers, it's members only, so we only have paid memberships. But most importantly, we have WeMarket Karma, and WeMarket Karma is specifically designed for these brands, and it's basically a reliability score that every buyer and supplier has. So you instantly know if you should buy from a certain supplier or sell to a certain buyer.
Is that tailored specifically to a certain buyer and a certain seller, or is that more of a generic thing?
No, WeMarket Karma is actually a very, it depends on very variables. Let's say it depends on profile information, what is the credit rating from Dun & Bradstreet, payment behavior, what type of company do you have, how many employees, annual turnover. So profile information, it is determined by your engagement on the marketplace. So if you log in frequently, if you answer questions from buyers or suppliers quickly, and if you get high ratings from other buyers and suppliers, then your karma will increase. And thirdly, it depends on how important you are on the marketplace. So how many transactions do you do? How many other people do you invite to WeMarket that also end up to be reliable and trustworthy? Altogether, many different variables that have one score. And we, of course, try to make that score as accurate as possible. So
trading score, you will get a trading score.
It's your visible trading relationship.
And how do you collect the profile information? Is that done by the users themselves, or how do you know that it's the right information?
We know that it's the right information because we get it from Dun & Bradstreet, partly because people connect their LinkedIn profiles, because people connect their credit cards, their UPS accounts. So the more they connect to WeMarket that is verifiable, the more impact it will have on their WeMarket karma.
The last time we talked in a previous interview, you said that WeMarket doesn't provide a payment solution. Do you offer that right now, or because you just talked about the credit card information that you get?
Yes, so credit card information is of course drawn also from the membership payments. But one of the things we also said is we wanted to make global trade easy for any company in the world. So especially for small and medium-sized businesses, we provide additional services. We don't provide them ourselves, but we have affiliated partners for this. For instance, Bird & Bird provides commercial contracting. We have SGS for local quality checks. We have Dun & Bradstreet for credit reporting, etc. So for all stages throughout a deal to be made, we have service partners.
The objective of WeMarket is to eliminate barriers in B2B trading. Is a lack of transparency one of those barriers, and what are other barriers?
A lack of transparency is indeed one of the most important barriers, because if you don't know that your neighbor is actually having products on inventory and you're sourcing in Asia or the United States, that is very inefficient. So providing transparency in who has what and is willing to sell, and who is looking for something and is willing to buy it on a digital marketplace, that really is eliminating one of those barriers. There are several other barriers, but that really depends on if you're a brand, a distributor, a wholesaler or retailer or a stock lot trader. In the talks that we had with brands, they typically wanted to get more control, more channel control and more transparency throughout the entire distribution chain, to really understand whom am I selling to and who's actually trading in my products besides myself. For distributors or for local brands, actually, they a lot of times have difficulty finding international retailers and distributors. In traditional trading, you have to send out sales representatives throughout the world. You have to be on international trade shows, which is all, of course, very inefficient. So the local brands really want to use WeMarket as an international podium to get in contact with these distributors and retailers without spending too much resources. So their international expansion can be much quicker than in traditional trading.
So how come the market wasn't apparently digitized for a long time, or was it digitized because the warehouse management solutions and those kind of technologies, they were actually at the forefront of technology? So it actually surprises me that there wasn't apparently not a market yet.
We got that reaction from many people, and actually we had that same reaction ourselves. Why isn't something like WeMarket, why didn't it exist before? Maybe it's because someone never started it before, but also very importantly, coming from a WeTransfer environment or mindset that of making things easier, having a passion for design and usability, we looked at B2B trading from a very different angle. So we really thought, okay, how is trade flowing through the entire distribution chain and how can we optimize it? Other marketplaces, they have had their own history, which made them perhaps biased to have a clear picture of how the marketplace should look.
WeMarket was launched last summer, but you have been developing the company for the last 2-3 years in stealth mode. Can you tell us why?
Well, to design something like WeMarket and to provide a marketplace for the world and for any industry, a lot of thought has to be put into. And so we really put a lot of effort into really crafting it as it is today. But also you of course need, with a double-sided platform or a double-sided marketplace where you have supply and demand, you need to have both in place at the same time before you can actually launch, because nobody's really looking at, is interested to looking at a marketplace that is empty but looks great and is nicely designed. And so in the past 2 years we've, apart from developing it, we've also reached out to about 150 different companies to make sure that what we were developing was the right way to do it, and to make sure that we had enough companies on board from last August onwards to make sure that supply and demand was in an equal balance.
And how did you get those companies on board? Because you didn't have anything actually at that moment in time. So how did a PowerPoint presentation, yes. So how did they decide to get involved?
We did it the old-fashioned way. It helps to have Bas Beerens on board, the founder of WeTransfer. That was key. But also to put the story in a presentation and really reach out to all the companies in the world to make sure that you tell them in person that this is something that they should be participating in. And
why did they decide to participate? What was the most important part of your value proposition?
The most, or the logic is that everybody is looking for new customers or is looking for a more controlled way of distributing their products. And buyers there are looking for a more efficient way to source products. So it is a basic need that any company has. That is very important. But the way how we approached it by 100% B2B, with a high focus on trust, and then also how we made the marketplace, as we like to call it, smart, safe and simple. That was really something that they liked and appreciated, and with the belief and WeTransfer behind it, they thought, okay, this is something we should jump onto.
So the seal of a very successful founder like Bas Beerens actually made the people decide to, okay, we will get involved. Is that the thinking?
That is the thinking, but also the determination. So already having the company in operation for 3 years, and the team has grown to now about 22 employees. So it's really a serious effort to make this work. It's not like 3 people on an attic saying, hey, we want to conquer the world. It's really something with a serious resource behind it.
So you actually approached the clients in a very late stage, actually, when the platform was already functioning. Is that
so? The initial year we really focused on the concept, a roadmap, which key functionality should be delivered. We decided on architecture, etc. We've been developing the marketplace for 2 years, and also during those last 2 years we started to reach out to suppliers and buyers across the world.
Online marketplaces are in tech space considered as the holy grail of internet companies, internet startups, and you just made a very fascinating statement to me, is that you have to have both the buyer and the seller on the marketplace before you actually launch the product publicly. But does that count in every instance?
I'm not sure if it counts in any instance, but it's a very conscious decision that we made. If you look at the old internet days, they had the mantra, if you build it, they will come. And our mantra is they will come if you get them. So we wanted to make sure that right from the start we had supply and demand on the marketplace. Also, if you launch a marketplace with the ambition that we have, you really have to reach out to brands and large distributors in the world, and you really have to show them that you are committed to make this work. So you can't just sit back and wait and see what happens. That's not the approach that we've taken.
To your point about ambition, you have quite a big ambition, and that's getting 1 million users at the platform.
Yeah.
Can you tell us at which time span you want to reach that mark and how you are going to achieve them?
In terms of time span, it's difficult to say, because this is the first time that somebody tried to open up and launch a B2B marketplace like we're doing. So we can't compare to, let's say, a web shop or other initiatives currently in the market. But what we are trying to do to make that million happen as soon as possible is that we're building in the same virality as has been done with WeTransfer. With WeTransfer, you have a sender of a file, and the recipient is very likely to also become a fan of WeTransfer. With WeMarket, we're building in these same features. They will be released soon this year. Those features makes it very interesting for members to start to invite their traditional trading network. So let's say a company like Philips is going to invite their retailers, their distributors. So that allows us to quickly scale across the globe because those suppliers and buyers are inviting their traditional trading network. So that is key. Another important aspect is that we are forming strategic marketing partnerships. There are already many organizations and many companies in the world that have hubs of clients and customers in the business or B2B type clients and customers. And with these marketing partnerships, we can relatively easy reach millions of companies out there.
Can you give a few examples of those marketing partners?
They're currently in the works. I hope to report on these in the upcoming months.
What should we think of? What kind of companies? Because it's quite opaque right now for me. I don't know actually what you're talking about. What kind of companies?
You can think of banking institutions. You can think of large wholesalers that have many business clients. Governmental organizations, those type of hubs where businesses gather. That's what you can think of.
Yeah, we just talked about the holy grail of internet companies, the online marketplaces, but another holy grail, or maybe another very important thing, is virality. So you just talked about virality, that you're building those the virality in the features you're going to launch. Can you give a few examples of how you incorporate virality in the features?
It's something that we will launch in the second quarter of this year.
Come on, guys. One example, one or two examples.
No, unfortunately, I can't elaborate on this yet.
So it's not comparable to the virality features you have at WeTransfer?
Of course, we will have something like a member get member feature that members can start to invite existing business relations. But what we try to do with WeMarket is to make in a global and especially a global digital world, trading can be very impersonal. You don't know whom you're trading with. So in our mission, we've said we want to become world's most personal B2B marketplace. And we want to be a marketplace where trading feels as private, trusted and transparent as trading with somebody you've known for years. So although somebody is although you've never traded or dealt with someone, it does feel very close to, well, from this location to start trading with somebody in Asia or the United States or vice versa. We really want to make it personal, close and together, and we've come up with several key features, but in the second quarter of this year I will be happy to report them to you. Great.
You said a few times during this interview that WeMarket is really singular in the way it is, so there aren't any other marketplaces that can be compared to WeMarket. Can you tell to me or any other one, the layman in very simple words, what the difference is between WeMarket and, for example, eBay?
Well, eBay is of course one consumer selling to another consumer. In a marketplace sense, it's similar. you have a buyer and a seller, so we will have that as well. But it's unique because the entire distribution chain is active on the marketplace. And if you look at the type of products that are being sold on WeMarket, you can think of pre-sales, so products that still need to be manufactured. You can think of current product lines, overstock, old inventory, or even return and refurbished merchandise. So it's really making a traditional way of trading, of sending out a sales representative to make that digital and therefore more efficient.
Bas Beerens founded WeMarket. What's the role of Bas Beerens at WeMarket?
Well, Bas Beerens is of course the father of the whole WeMarket idea. He really envisioned it. He's also for us a coach on in terms of designs, making things simpler. And he's a lot of times sending us back, saying, okay, it needs to look better, it needs to be simpler, it needs to be a better experience. So he really safeguards where WeMarket is going. The
revenue model of WeMarket is subscription based. So users pay $500 for unlimited trading per year. How did you decide the price point $500?
We had many discussions around that price point. We really took learnings from WeTransfer in a sense that we wanted to scale WeMarket. We wanted to maximize the number of buyers and suppliers to become active on the marketplace. And therefore, for us, it needed to be a number that was affordable for, of course, the large global brands, which is $500 is almost nothing. But it also needed to be very affordable for the local retailer or the local broker, stock lot trader. And then $500 is a very reasonable amount.
It's per seat, by the way, $500.
Yeah, per user.
Per user,
for the supplier as well as for the buyer.
I really like the simplicity, by the way. It's just one price and that's it. But what were the reasons? Why wasn't it $1,000? Why is it $500? Is that because it's still not too expensive for the small retailers? How did you decide to not make it $1,000? Yeah, so if your market is, let's say, just one country, you're more likely to come to a higher number. Our market is the world, and you have 172 million companies in the world actively doing business. Of course, that's a lot of companies. But we also wanted to make the threshold for them as low as possible and not have them to think twice about becoming part of WeMarket. It's 172 million to just get it straight in B2B trading? No, it's just company total. Okay. And if you focus on the categories that we initially, right now we're building up our membership base in let's say consumer electronics, fashion, automotive, home deco, home improvement, toys and personal care, all companies or industries that have a high turnover in products, so they have new product lineups every year. And so the need for something like WeMarket is very high there. But if you just look at that category, you have about 40 million companies in the world. Okay. If we just have 1 million times $500, you have a very profitable business model. Exactly. So with the world as our market, there was no need to make a higher amount than the $500. You launched WeMarket in beta half a year ago. What's the traction on the platform? Well, prior to launch, we already, as mentioned, we already reached out to 150 companies. They were across the board very excited about what was to come. Since launch last August, we've been thrilled to see many A-brands, many distributors, so A-brands like LG, Sony, Philips, TomTom, Rituals, to actually start trading on WeMarket, as well as distributors such as Tech Data or Amacon, and recently also wholesalers like the Macro, or retailers like MediaMarkt. How did you get them on board? Was that really cold calling or selling, or in did some they instances, come? Yes. Really? So the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way. Yeah. So we use our network, and with the companies that we didn't have a network in, we really had to do it the old-fashioned way. Gijs, it was a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for being on the show. Well, thanks for inviting us. It was a pleasure to be here.